Welcome to my channel. I hope you like and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to crochet these little overalls or dungarees for baby boys and girls between 3 and 6 months old. Now you can easily make them smaller or bigger, I'd say from a newborn size and up to 4 years old. Down here in the information box below, I'll go ahead and leave you some information on how you can easily make them smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. Also, if you prefer a written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop in the information box below. Thank you so much for your support. Now, to make these little overalls, this is the yarn that I used. I used DK weight yarn, but you can also use any number 3 yarn or A-ply. In total, I used about 147 grams for the 3 to 6 month size. I used about 122 grams in blue and about 25 grams in white. Now, you will need less or more depending on the size that you're making and your tension, so please keep that in mind. Now, make sure to comment below and let me know if you want me to make the matching little coat to go with these little overalls. I'll see what I can do. Now, let's get started, and thanks so much for watching. Okay, to begin, I'll be using this 3mm crochet hook, and today I'm using this DK weight yarn. I used DK weight, but you can also use number 3 or A-ply. At the beginning of the video, I showed you the yarn that I'm using, and I told you how much yarn I used for the size that I'm making. So here to continue, I have 86 chains. This chain here, without stretching or anything, it's measuring about 15.75 inches, which is about 40 centimeters. Now, if you're off by 1 or 2 centimeters, it's okay. Just continue with the first row. So here, to start with the first row, into the 4th chain from the hook, 1, 2, 3, 4. Into this 4th chain here, I'm going to make a double crochet. Now, these 3 chains here counts as 1 double crochet, so I have 2. In total, I am going to make 8. So into the next chain, make a double crochet. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 double crochets, including the 3 chains, 2, 4, 6, 8. Now into the next chain, I'm going to make my first corner. So in this row, the corners are going to consist of V stitches. So make a double crochet, 2 chains, and then 1 double crochet into this same chain. Now into the next 24 chains, I'm going to make 1 double crochet. So into the next chain, make a double crochet. Now continue until you have 24 double crochets. I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished making these 24 double crochets. Now this here is one of the sleeves. Now into the next chain here, make the second corner. So make a V-stitch, double crochet, 2 chains, double crochet. Now into the next 16 chains, we're going to make 1 double crochet. This here is going to be the front or the back. So I'm going to make 16 double crochets. Finish, I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished making these 16 double crochets, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Now into the next chain, we're going to make our 3rd corner. So make your V-stitch, double crochet, 2 chains, double crochet. Now into the next 24 chains, I'm going to make 1 double crochet. So beginning into the next chain, make your first double crochet and continue until you have 24 double crochets. This is going to be the second sleeve. I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished making these 24 double crochets for the second sleeve. Now into the next chain here, make the 4th corner. So make a V-stitch. Now I have 8 chains left, so make 1 double crochet on each one of these chains until we finish this first row. I will meet you at the end. I finished making these last 8 double crochets. At the end of this first row, you should have a total of 88 double crochets, including the double crochets for the corners and the 3 chains here at the beginning. So that's a total of 88 double crochets. Now for the second row, we're going to chain 1 and turn. Now this chain never counts as a stitch. Here, to begin the second row, into the first double crochet through both loops, make a single crochet. Now I'm going to make single crochets on each one of these double crochets, but I'm going to go through the back loop only. So into the next, make a single crochet, into the next, and so on. Here, let's see, I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I have the first corner into this chain 2 space, and into each one of the remaining corners you're going to make 2 single crochets, chain 2, 2 single crochets. Now make sure to put a stitch marker here. And now continue along and do the same thing for these double crochets. So beginning into this next double crochet through the back loop, right there, make a single crochet, and into each one of these double crochets until you come to the second corner, where you're going to do exactly the same thing I did. 2 single crochets, 2 chains, 2 single crochets, and continue along and do the same thing for each corner until you finish the second row. I will meet you at the end of this row. I'm here at the end of the second row. Here at the end into the third chain, I did my last single crochet. At the end of the second row, I have a total of 104 single crochets. From here on, we're going to be increasing 16 stitches at the end of each row, because on each corner we make 4 stitches. So 4 times 4, that's 16. Now for the third row, I'm going to chain 2 and turn. These 2 chains do not count. In this row, I'm going to start with a double crochet on top of the first single crochet. And from here on, I'm going to work a double crochet, but I'm going to go through the back loop only until I come to the first corner. So here I have, that's 3, 11 double crochets. Remove this stitch marker, and into this chain 2 space, make 2 double crochets, 2 chains, 2 double crochets. Now here you can easily see the chain 2 space here of this corner, but I'm going to still continue putting my stitch marker right there. Now this is how you're going to work each one of the corners, and for the single crochets in between, you're just going to work 1 double crochet through the back loop only, like this, until you come to the next corner, where you're going to do exactly the same thing on each one. Now at the end of this third row, you should have a total of 120 double crochets. So I will meet you at the end of this third row. I'm here at the end of this third row. I have a total of 120 double crochets. Now for the fourth row, we're going to chain 1 and turn. In this fourth row, we're going to make single crochet. So beginning on top of the first double crochet, through both loops, make a single crochet. Now into the remaining double crochets, I'm going to make single crochets, but I'm going to go through the back loop only until I come to the first corner. So here I have 4, 13 single crochets. Now into this corner and into each one of the corners, you're just going to work 2 single crochets, 2 chains, 2 single crochets, and then continue on making single crochets through the back loop of each one of these double crochets and then do the same thing on each corner. Don't forget to return your stitch marker here to mark the center of this corner. Now at the end of this fourth row, you're going to have 136 single crochets. I'll meet you at the end of this fourth row. I'm here at the end of the fourth row. I have a total of 136 single crochets. Now for the fifth row, chain 2 and turn. Now in this row we're going to make double crochet, so beginning on top of the first single crochet through both loops, make a double crochet. Now into these remaining single crochets through the back loop, I'm going to make a double crochet until I come to the first corner. So here I have 4 double crochets. $15 double crochets. Now we have the first corner. Remove your stitch marker and into this chain 2 space, make 2 double crochets, 2 chains, 2 double crochets. And this is how you're going to work each corner from here on as well. Now continue and work 1 double crochet through the back loop of each one of these single crochets until you come to the next corner, where you're just going to do exactly the same thing that I did here in this corner. At the end of this fifth row, you should have a total of 152 double crochets. I will meet you at the end of this fifth row. I'm here at the end of the fifth row. I have a total of 152 double crochets. Now for the sixth row, chain 1 and turn. Beginning on top of the first double crochet through both loops, make a single crochet. Now into each one of these remaining double crochets through the back loop only, make a single crochet until you come to the first corner. So here I have 4 single crochets. $17 single crochets. Here's the first corner. Remove the stitch marker into this chain 2 space, make 2 single crochets, 2 chains, 2 single crochets. And this is how you're going to work each one of the corners. And then for the double crochets, you're just going to continue and do the same thing. A single crochet through the back loop of each one of these double crochets until you finish this 6th row. At the end of this 6th row, you're going to have a total of 168 single crochets. Continue, I will meet you at the end. Okay, I finished making row 6, and if you notice, I have changed yarn color. The yoke that you have been watching is this one here for this little romper or overalls that I showed you already in my channel. In the information box below, I'll go ahead and leave you the link. This one has a matching little coat as well, so I'll leave both links in the information box below. But here the yoke, it's exactly the same. At the end of the 6th row, you should have had 168 single crochets. Now let me tell you how many stitches you have for each section. For each one of the front panels, you should have 19 single crochets, so 19 and 19. And for each one of the sleeves, there are 46 single crochets, so 46 and 46. And for the back side, I have 38 single crochets. Now we're going to divide the sleeves. Oh, before I continue, this part here is measuring about 2 inches, which is about 5 centimeters. So here we're going to continue and divide the sleeves. So to do this, I'm going to chain 2 and turn. This here is going to be row 1 because we're going to divide the sleeves. So we're going to start counting rows again. So here to begin, on top of this first single crochet, make a double crochet. Now into each one of these single crochets through the back loop only, make a double crochet. I'm going to continue with the same pattern here. So continue, make 1 double crochet for each one of these 19 single crochets. I will meet you right here to show you how we're going to divide the first sleeve. I finished making these 19 double crochets for this front panel. Now into this first corner, make 3 double crochets. There. Now for this front panel, you should have 22 double crochets. To divide the first sleeve, chain 7. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now if you want to add more chains here to add to the chest measurement, you can. So now we're going to skip these 46 single crochets for the sleeve, and into the second corner here make 3 double crochets. Now continue along, making 1 double crochet through the back loop of each one of these single crochets. Here we have 38, so continue, finish these stitches. I'll meet you right here to show you how we're going to separate the second sleeve. I finished making these double crochets for the back side, and I went ahead and did 3 double crochets into this third corner. For the back side, you should have a total of 44 double crochets, including the 3 that we did on both of these corners. Now to divide the second sleeve, I am going to chain 7. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now skip these 46 double crochets, and into the fourth corner make 3 double crochets. Now continue along and finish making these last 19 double crochets through the back loop only of these single crochets. I will meet you at the end of this first row. I finished making these double crochets for this second front panel. I finished the first row. At the end of this row, I have a total of 102 stitches. Now each one of the front panels, there are 22 stitches, and for the back side I have 44, and under each sleeve I have 7 chains. So that's a total of 102 stitches at the end of this first row. Now for the second row, this is what we're going to do. We're going to change yarn color, or at least I am. I'm going to make this here in 2 colors. So we're going to be alternating color every 2 rows. So I'm going to use this white yarn here. So don't cut your yarn. Instead, just join the new color like this. Grab a loop, pull this loop, the blue one, and now chain 1. If you're not changing yarn color, then just chain 1 and turn. Now here, beginning on top of this first double crochet, make a single crochet. Now remember that the first single crochet and the last single crochet of the row, I always go through both loops. For the stitches in between, I'm going to go through the back loop only. Now continue. I will meet you right here to show you how we're going to work these stitches under the sleeves. I finished making these single crochets for the front panel. Here I have 22 single crochets. Now we have the 7 chains under the sleeve. Into the first, second, and third chain, I'm going to make a single crochet. Now into the fourth chain, which is the middle stitch here, I'm going to make 2 single crochets. So here I'm going to increase 1 stitch. Now into the 5th, 6th, and 7th chain, just make 1 single crochet. And you're going to do exactly the same thing for the second sleeve. So here are 8 single crochets now under the sleeve. Now for the back side, you're just going to make 1 single crochet for each one of these 44 double crochets until you come here under the second sleeve, where you're going to do exactly the same thing that I did here. Into the first, second, and third chain, 1 single crochet. Into the fourth, 2 single crochets. Then into the 5th, 6th, and 7th chain, 1 single crochet, and then continue along and finish the second front panel. At the end of this second row, you should have a total of 104 single crochets. I'll meet you at the end of this row. I finished the second row. At the end of this row, I have a total of 104 single crochets. In this row, I've increased 2 stitches, 1 stitch under each sleeve. So you should have a total of 104 single crochets at the end of this second row. Now for the third row, we're going to chain 2 and turn. Now remember that these 2 chains never count as a stitch. Beginning on top of the first single crochet, make a double crochet, and through the back loop of each one of these remaining single crochets, make a double crochet. We're not going to increase anymore. I have the measurement that I need for the chest, for the size that I'm making. So all we're going to do from here on is just repeat a row single crochets and a row double crochets, and then change yarn color every 2 rows. So continue like this for the 3rd row. I will meet you here at the end to show you once again how to start and how to finish each row from here on. I'm here at the end of this 3rd row. This is where I did double crochets. I have a total of 104 double crochets. Now for rows 4 and 5, we're going to repeat these 2 rows, the row of single crochets and the row of double crochets, and we're going to change yarn color here. So I'm going to grab a loop here with the blue yarn, pull this loop here. Now chain 1, turn, and right on top of this first double crochet, make a single crochet. Now don't worry about this yarn here. Once we finish and we start making the front panels, we're going to make single crochets along this part here, so you won't be able to see it, so don't worry about that. So into each one of these single crochets through the back loop, we're going to make a single crochet into each one of these remaining double crochets here. Now this is all we're going to do until you come here to the end of the row. Here at the end, you're going to make your last single crochet on top of the last double crochet, then you're going to chain 2, turn, and then repeat the row of double crochets. And that's all we're going to do from here on, like I said. So we're just going to repeat these 2 rows, and every 2 rows we're going to be changing yarn color. So that's how I'm going to continue for mine. Now continue watching. I will let you know exactly how many rows I'm going to do for mine. So I will meet you at the end of that row. Okay, I'm almost done with the body. I have done a total of 29 rows, counting from this first row where we divided the sleeve up to the last row, which is a row of double crochets. I have 29 rows, and it's measuring from under the sleeve to the end here of the last row. It's measuring about 20 centimeters, which is about 8 inches. Now, if you notice, I only did 4 changes here where I changed yarn color. It was taking me too long to do the changes, so I decided to just continue with one color. You can continue in the same way where you just change color every 2 rows, or do it as I did. So I only did 4 color changes. So here, to continue, we're going to work on the front panels here. With this here facing me, this will be the left side, so we're going to go right here on this side. Make sure that you're on the right side also, the right side, the good side that you're going to see. This here is going to be the inside, and that's how it looks. Okay, so here to continue, we're going to go along here the very edge. I forgot to mention that at the end of row 29, which is a row of double crochets, I cut my yarn and just passed my yarn through that last loop. So we're going to go right here on top of the last double crochet, and I'm going to grab a loop. I'm going to change yarn color. If you're not going to change yarn color, then just chain 1 and then make 3 single crochets into this double crochet, which is what I'm going to do. So here I'm going to chain 1 first, and right on top of this same double crochet, make a single crochet, and right into the space here make 2 more, so that here at the beginning I have 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3. Now we have the next row, which is a row single crochet, so make 1 there, and then the row of double crochets from here on, make 2. Then we have the single crochet row again, make 1, and then at the end of the double crochet row, make 2. And that's how you're going to continue. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way to the top. I will meet you right here to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished making these single crochets. Along this front panel, I have a total of 55 single crochets. Now, if you have 1 or 2 stitches less or more, it's okay. The important thing is that when you do the other side, make sure that you make the same number of single crochets. I have 55. So now for the second row, I'm going to chain 1 and turn. Now, beginning on top of this first single crochet, make a half double crochet right on top. Now into the next one, work a front post half double crochet, into the next back post half double crochet, into the next front post half double crochet, and into the next back post half double crochet. This is all I'm going to do for this second row of the front panel. Just alternate between a front post and a back post half double crochet. Now continue, I'll meet you here at the end of the second row. I'm here at the end of the second row. Now to finish here on top of the last single crochet, make a half double crochet. And this is how I finished the second row. I have a total of 55 half double crochets for the second row. Now for the third row, chain 1 and turn. Beginning on top of the first half double crochet, make a half double crochet. Now we're going to work these stitches exactly how they are. So the next stitch is a back post, so make a back post half double crochet. The next one, make a front post half double crochet. Next one, back post half double crochet, front post half double crochet into the next, and so on. This is all we're going to do here for this third row. Front post and back post half double crochets. Now if you have a hard time making front post and back post half double crochets, then what you can do is just 1 or 2 rows here of half double crochets. Don't do front post or back post, just do half double crochets for both rows, and it should still look nice. So that would be another option if you wish to do it that way. Okay, so continue. I'll meet you here at the end of the third row. I'm here at the end of this third row. Now here at the end, to finish, just go on top of the last half double crochet and make a half double crochet. And here is the third row with 55 half double crochets as well. Now we're going to continue along the neckline and do the same thing. So here we're going to chain 1 into this last half double crochet space. Here the third row, make a half double crochet. Now into the next row here of the front panel, make a half double crochet, and into the first row here of the single crochet row, make a half double crochet. So here you should have 3 half double crochets because we had 3 rows for the front panel. Now we have the double crochets here along the neckline. Here we're going to do the same thing as we did for the front panel. We have the first double crochet, make a front post half double crochet, into the next back post half double crochet, into the next front post half double crochet, back post half double crochet, and so on. This is all I'm going to do all around the neckline. Front post and back post half double crochet into each one of these double crochets. Here's the first corner, and then just continue with the same thing. Front post and back post half double crochets. Now continue like this all around the neckline. I will meet you right here at the end to show you how we're going to work the second front panel. Okay, I'm here at the end of the neckline. Now into this last stitch here, which are the 3 chains right on top of the third chain, make a half double crochet. Now at the end of this row that we did all around the neckline, I have 90 half double crochets. And again, if you have 1 or 2 stitches less or more here around the neckline, it's okay. Now we're going to continue and make the second front panel, and we're going to do exactly the same thing we did for the first front panel. So we're going to do the first row single crochet. So I'm going to start you off here, and then you're going to continue with the rest. So chain 1, and right into this last half double crochet that I did, make 1 single crochet. Now here at the end, I have these chains, make 2. Then we have the row single crochet, make 1. And here at the end of double crochets, make 2, then 1 again, then 2, then 1. This part here is exactly the same thing, how we did the first row for the first front panel. Now you're going to continue like this until you come to the end. For me, I'm going to make sure that I have 55 single crochets, which is the same number of single crochets that I had for the first front panel. And then I'm going to chain 1, turn, and then repeat the same thing I did for rows 2 and 3 of the first front panel. So continue, finish this second front panel, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. I finished making the second front panel. I finished here with the third row. Now here at the end, I cut my yarn and passed my yarn through that last loop. So this part here is done. Now if you notice, I did not add any buttonholes because the spaces in between the rows of half double crochets are big enough for buttons to fit through. Continue watching. I will let you know what size buttons I am going to use, but normally I use 12, 11, 12, or even 13mm size, but I'll let you know at the end what size buttons I use and how many. Now, this here is for little boys, but if you want to make it for little girls, you can. The only thing is that when you join here, make sure that this front panel, the first one that we did, is on top of the second front panel, because this is where you're going to attach your buttons for girls, and this is where the buttonholes are going to go. For boys is the opposite, so we're going to put ours like this. So now we're going to continue here with the body. I'm going to do a couple more rows before I separate for the legs. So this is going to be the continuation of the body. So my last row here was row 29, so this is going to be row 30. So to continue here, the next row needs to be worked from the wrong side. It's the row of single crochets. So with the blue yarn here, I am going to go into the first front panel, and I'm going to go into the row of single crochets right here. This is where we did the first single crochet, and I'm going to insert my hook through the half double crochet that I did for the second front panel. That's the third row. So now grab this loop here, bring it through, chain one. Now go back into these same stitches and make a single crochet. There. Now we're joined, at least this side is. We need to join the other side once we finish the row. So here to continue, we have the next stitch, and here the next stitch is actually the same stitch where we did the first row single crochets for the first front panel. So right on top of that stitch, through the back loop, insert your hook and make a single crochet. Here we're going to work these 104 stitches that we have in the same way. So through the back loop, just make a single crochet so that we can continue with the pattern like this all around. I will meet you here at the end of this 30th row to show you how we're going to work this little section here and then continue on with the next row. So I will meet you here at the end. Okay, I'm here at the end of the 30th row. Up to here, I have a total of 105 stitches. I'm counting this first stitch that we did where we joined. So one stitch plus 104, that's 105 stitches here at the end of this row. Now, I need to make 3 more stitches here so that here in the middle, this part here, I have 4 stitches more. So to do this here, I'm going to go here through the back panel, this back panel here, and through the single crochet row. So now grab a loop here and make a single crochet. Now insert your hook into the next row, and through the next row make a single crochet, and here I'm going to make 1 more so that I finish this part here with 108 single crochets. Now to finish, go on top of the first single crochet and join with a slip stitch. Now this row is done, and this is how it looks. Now make sure to look here and see how it looks. I think it looks fine. We're going to hide all of these ends once it's done, so let me pull this end here, and then we're going to hide all the other ends. So I think that looks pretty good. And now chain 2 and turn. So here for row 31, we're going to work 1 double crochet through the back loop only of each one of these single crochets. Again, I'm continuing with the pattern where we do 1 row single crochet and then 1 row double crochet through the back loop. And that's all we're going to do for row 31. Continue like this all around. I will meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of row 31. This is where I did double crochets all around. I have a total of 108 double crochets at the end of this row. Now to finish, go on top of the first double crochet and join with a slip stitch. And here is row 31 with 108 stitches all around. Now we're going to divide the legs. So this is how I want you to place your stitch markers. We're going to mark 6 double crochets here for the front. We have 2, 4, 6. The 2 chains do not count. And then you're going to count 48 stitches for this leg. And then for the back side, you're going to count 6 stitches for the crotch area. And then for the second leg, again, 48 stitches. So we have 6 for the front, 6 for the back, and each leg has 48 double crochets. So to do this next row where we divide here the legs, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to chain 2 and turn. Now I have these next 2 double crochets here, so on top of each one, make a double crochet. There, I have 2 double crochets. The 2 chains do not count. Now to divide the legs, chain 1. You can add more chains if you want to add to the measurement here of the legs. For the size that I'm making, this is plenty, just 1 chain. But you can add more, there is no multiples. So now skip 48 double crochets and into the double crochet after the stitch marker right here, which is the first one here of the 6. Make a double crochet, and into each one also make a double crochet. And here I am going through both loops. There, I have 6 double crochets here for the back, 2, 4, 6. Now to divide the second leg, chain 1, skip 48 double crochets, and into the double crochet after the stitch marker, make a double crochet. So here I have 4 double crochets left, so make 1 double crochet there as well. That's 3 and 4. So here I have 6 double crochets for the front, 6 double crochets for the back. Go on top of the first double crochet and join with a slip stitch. Now cut your yarn and pass your yarn through this last loop. There. Now here's the crotch here. This is how we have divided. We have 6 and 6. Now with this here upside down like this, we're going to go to the left side and we're going to go right here where we have this chain that we did. We're going to work this leg first. So insert your hook into this chain space. Now grab a loop here, bring it through, chain 1. Now make sure to leave a nice little tail here because there is going to be a small gap left here. All you're going to do is just join these stitches here together to close that gap. Now this first row for the first leg is going to be worked from the wrong side out. So here I chained 1 and right into the same space here make a single crochet. Now into this double crochet of the crotch here, make a single crochet also. So right into the space there, make a single crochet. Now we have the first double crochet here of the 48. So into the back loop of this first double crochet, make a single crochet through the back loop only. This row is going to consist of single crochets and we're going to continue with the pattern. So 1 single crochet on each double crochet through the back loop only. There, continue like this all around for this first row of the first leg. I will meet you right here at the end to show you how we're going to finish this row. I'm here at the end of this first row for the first leg. Now up to here I have 50 single crochets. We had 48 for the legs and then I added these 2 here at the beginning, so that's 50 single crochets. Now to finish, we're going to go right here. We have this double crochet that's part of the crotch area here, and right into this double crochet space we're going to make a single crochet. So now I have 51 single crochets. To finish, go on top of the first single crochet and join with a slip stitch. And here is the first row for the first leg with 51 single crochets. Now for the second row, we're going to chain 2 and turn. Remember, the 2 chains never count. Now in this row, I'm going to decrease at the beginning and at the end. We're going to decrease 2 stitches. So here at the beginning, I'm going to decrease the first stitch. So we're going to work a double crochet decrease. So yarn over, insert your hook into this next single crochet, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into the next single crochet, and I'm going through both loops. Grab a loop, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Here's the double crochet decrease. Now into the remaining single crochets through the back loop, make a double crochet all around until you come to the last 2 single crochets. So right about here. Continue. I will meet you here at the end of this second row to show you what we need to do next. I'm here at the end of this second row. This is where I did double crochets. Here at the beginning we did a double crochet decrease, so we have decreased 1 stitch here at the beginning. I'm left with 2 stitches here at the end, and here we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make another double crochet decrease. So yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, take 2 loops off, leave 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, insert your hook into the last stitch here, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Now I have 49 double crochets all around. Remember, the 2 chains never count. Now to finish the second row, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. And here is the second row with 49 double crochets. Now before I continue with the third row, one thing, if you don't want to make these decreases, you can just continue with the 51 stitches that we originally had. It's up to you. That's going to add to the measurement here to the legs. If you have a baby with wider legs, then by all means you can continue with 51 stitches, or even add more stitches here when we chain one, when we divide it for the crutch. That would be up to you. It's an easy adjustment to make the legs wider. For the size that I'm making, the 49 stitches is what I need. So now for the third row, we're going to chain 1 and turn. In this row we're going to work single crochets, and beginning into this first stitch here, make a single crochet through the back loop, and into each one of the remaining double crochets, 1 single crochet through the back loop only. Continue. I'll meet you here at the end of this third row. I'm here at the end of this third row. This is where I did single crochets. Now up to here I have 49 single crochets. To finish, always go on top of the first single crochet through both loops and join with a slip stitch. Now from here on, we're going to repeat this single crochet row, which is the third row, and the fourth row, which is the row of double crochets. So for the fourth row, you chain 2 and turn, and on each one of these single crochets through the back loop only, you're going to make a double crochet into each one of the single crochets all around. Now to finish this row of double crochets, all you're going to do is just go on top of the first double crochet, join with a slip stitch, chain 1, turn, and then repeat the row of single crochets, and that's how you're going to continue for the rest here of the leg. Now, I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do here, but continue watching. I will let you know exactly how many rows I'm going to do, so I will meet you at the end of that row. Okay, I'm almost done with the leg. Now, I have done a total of 16 rows. So from here where we divided the legs up to here, there's 16 rows. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. The last row that I did was a row of double crochets. Now for row 17, we're going to chain 1. We're not going to turn or anything. Here we're going to make 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and here you can go through both loops. Now into these next 2, we're going to make a single crochet decrease. So insert your hook into the first one, insert your hook into the next one, 3 loops on the hook, close. Now again, make 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and into the next 2, make your single crochet decrease. Again, make 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and into the next 2, make a single crochet decrease. And that's how we're going to continue for this 17th row. Now you can make the leg longer. For the size that I'm making this for, I think it's fine. We still need to make the bottom part here. I still have about 2 more inches left here, so that would be up to you. There is no stitch multiple. There's no number of rows that you need to have. You can make this part here longer. That would be up to you. So continue, finish the 17th row. I'll meet you at the end. I'm here at the end of this 17th row. This is where I did single crochets all around, and we worked some decreases. Now up to here I have a total of 36 stitches. Here's my last decrease, and I still have 4 stitches left. Now this is how we're going to work these last stitches. Into the next 2, I'm going to make a single crochet, so that's 37. 38. Now into these last two, I'm going to make a single crochet decrease. So insert your hook, grab a loop, into the next, grab a loop, 3 loops, close. So now I'm left with 39 single crochets at the end of this 17th row. Now to finish, go on top of the first single crochet and join with a slip stitch. Now I've cut my yarn, so pass your yarn through this last loop. And now I'm going to switch to the white yarn here to do the bottom part of the pants. So here, insert your hook back into the same stitch that you joined, which is the first single crochet. Now grab a loop here, bring it through, chain 1, and right into this same stitch make a half double crochet. Now for this 18th row, all we're going to do is 1 half double crochet on each single crochet, so that when you finish the 18th row, you are left with 39 half double crochets. Now continue like this all around. I will meet you at the end of this 18th row. I'm here at the end of the 18th row. This is where I did half double crochets all around. Now to finish this row, go on top of the first half double crochet and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finished the 18th row with a total of 39 stitches. Now for row 19, we're going to chain 1. To begin here, we're going to make a front post half double crochet into this first half double crochet. Now into the next, make a back post half double crochet, into the next front post half double crochet, into the next back post half double crochet, front post half double crochet, and so on. Now this is how we're going to continue for this 19th row. You're just going to make front post and back post half double crochets. Now to finish this row, you're going to go here on top of the first half double crochet, join with a slip stitch, chain 1, and then repeat the same thing. You're going to work these stitches exactly how they are. This first stitch is a front post, so you're going to make a front post half double crochet, then back post, front post, back post, front post, back post, and so on. And that's how you're going to continue for the rest. I'm not sure how many rows I'm going to do here, but continue watching. I will let you know exactly how many rows I'm going to do, so I will meet you at the end of that row. I finished making the bottom part here of the leg. I did a total of 3 rows of front post and back post half double crochet. So we did the row of single crochets, that was row number 17. Then we did row 18 where we did half double crochets all around. Then I did row 19, 20, and 21 in front post and back post half double crochet. So the leg is all done. Now you're going to do exactly the same thing how we did this part here for the second leg. I'm going to start you off. So right here where we have this chain is part of the crotch area here. I'm going to insert my hook there and I'm going to grab a loop here. This single crochet row that I'm going to work next is going to be worked on the wrong side. So chain 1 here, and right into this same space here, make a single crochet. Now we have this double crochet that's part of the crotch here. So into this double crochet space, make a single crochet. Now I have the first double crochet out of the 48 that we left for the leg. So here, make a single crochet, but make sure you go through the back loop. And from here on, this is what we're going to do. 1 single crochet for each double crochet all around, and make sure you go through the back loop. Continue like this. I'll meet you here at the end of this first row for the second leg. I'm here at the end of this first row for the second leg. Now up to here I have 50 single crochets, including these 2 that I added at the beginning. So now to finish, we're going to go here. We have this double crochet that's part of the center part here, the crotch. We're going to go into this space here and make a single crochet. Now I have 51 single crochets. To finish, just go on top of the first single crochet and join with a slip stitch. And here is the first row for the second leg with 51 single crochets. Now for the second row, chain 2 and turn. Now in the second row, we're going to make a decrease at the beginning and at the end. So yarn over, insert your hook into this next single crochet, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into the next single crochet, and I'm going through both loops. Grab a loop, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Here's the double crochet decrease. Now continue all around, just making 1 double crochet for each single crochet, and make sure you go through the back loop until you come here to the end. Here at the end, into these last 2 single crochets, I'm going to make a double crochet decrease as well. So continue. I'll meet you at the end of this second row. I'm here at the end of the second row. This is for the second leg. Now I have my last 2 stitches here. We're going to make a double crochet decrease. So insert your hook, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, yarn over, insert your hook into the last stitch, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, 3 loops on the hook, close. Now to finish this row, go on top of the first double crochet and join with a slip stitch. And this is how I finish the second row with 49 stitches. From here on, we're always going to have 49 stitches. Now for the third row, we're going to chain 1 and turn. In the third row, we're going to work single crochets. So beginning into the next single crochet here, insert your hook and make your first single crochet through the back loop of each one of these double crochets. At the end of this third row, we're going to have 49 single crochets. Then to finish, you're just going to join here to the beginning on top of the first single crochet with a slip stitch, chain 2, turn, and then you're going to work the row of double crochets where you do 1 double crochet through the back loop of each single crochet all around, and at the end of that row you're going to have 49. From here on, it's exactly how we did the first leg. You're going to do this part for 16 rows, and then in row 17, that's where we do the decreases, and then for row 18 we do a row of half double crochets all around, and then 3 rows of front post and back post half double crochets. You can rewind the video and just go back to this part here where we did the first leg so that you can see exactly how it's done. But from here on, I'm sure you can manage how to do this the second leg. So continue, finish, and then I'll come back and show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished making the second leg. I did it exactly in the same way how I showed you how to do it here. Now the legs are done and we're almost done with these little overalls. So now let me show you how to join this gap here. So we're going to go here on the inside. And here I told you to leave a nice long tail because we were going to join this part here. So we're going to join it like this. Make sure that each stitch corresponds with one another. So with a crochet hook or with a needle, you can just go stitch by stitch on this side and on this side and join. But I'm going to do it with a crochet hook. So to do this, I'm going to go into this first stitch on this side, and I'm going to go into this stitch here on this other side. I'm going to grab a loop here, bring it through, chain 1. Now into the next 2. So 1 on this side and the next one on this side, insert your hook, grab a loop, and make a slip stitch. Again, go into the next 2 stitches, grab a loop, and make a slip stitch. Into the next 2, slip stitch, slip stitch, and the last 2. There, slip stitch, pass your yarn through this last loop, and this part here is done. All we have to do is just hide our ends, and let me show you how it looks. There, perfect. That's how it looks. So that part is done. There it is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this row here that I did around this sleeve. So we're going to go right here, right in the middle. Remember, here we added 7 stitches, so right into the middle here, so that I have 3 on this side and 3 on this side. Grab this loop, bring it through, chain 1, and right into this same stitch here, make a single crochet. Now into these next 3, make a single crochet. there, I have 4 single crochets here. Now we have this double crochet right there, make a single crochet into that double crochet space, and now go into the corner here, make a single crochet. So here I have 6 single crochets, 2, 4, 6. Now we have the first single crochet here of this sleeve, and here we're going to begin with a front post half double crochet, back post half double crochet, front post half double crochet into the next, back post half double crochet into the next, and so on. This is how we're going to work these stitches all around the sleeve, like this. So continue making front post and back post half double crochets all around the sleeve. I will meet you here at this end to show you how we're going to finish this row. Now again, if you have a hard time making front post and back post half double crochets, then what you can do is just do a row single crochets or do a row of chains. That would be up to you. In this tutorial here, I did chains. I did 2 chains, then a slip stitch, chain 2, slip stitch, chain 2, slip stitch all around. So continue, I'll meet you here at the end of this row. I'm here at this other end of the sleeve. Now up to here I have a total of 52 stitches. If you have 1 or 2 stitches less or more, it's okay. Now here what we're going to do to finish this part is I'm going to go into this double crochet space and make a single crochet, and right here into this corner make another one. So that's 52, 53, 54 plus 3 more, 55, 56, 57 stitches for this row. Now to finish, go on top of the first stitch and join with a slip stitch. Now cut your yarn and pass your yarn through this last loop, and the sleeve is done, and that's how it looks. So you're going to repeat the same thing for this side. It's done exactly in the same way. So these little overalls are all done. Look how cute they are. Now all you need to do is just hide your ends. I already did for mine, and as you can see, I already went ahead and attached my buttons. I went ahead and used 4 buttons. Now these buttons are 12mm size. You can also use 11, 12, or 13. I'm using 12mm size. Now as far as buttonholes, the spaces in between the rows of half double crochets is what I'm using as buttonholes. So that's what I did here. So now let me give you the finished measurements. Okay, so let's start with the total length. From the top of the shoulder to the end here of the leg, it's measuring about 49 centimeters, which is about 19.25 inches. From the middle here of the crotch up to the end of the leg, it's measuring about 15 centimeters, which is about 6 inches. From under the sleeve to the end here of the leg, it's measuring about 37 centimeters, which is about 14.5 inches. Now, from the middle here of the neckline to the crotch area here, it's measuring about 27 centimeters, which is about 10.5 inches. And the chest measurement, chest to top, it's measuring about 25.5 centimeters, which is about 10 inches. So based on these measurements, these little overalls are for baby boys and girls between 3 and 6 months old, but you can easily make them smaller or bigger. I'd say from a newborn size and up to 4 years old. Down here in the information box, I'll go ahead and leave you some information on how you can make them smaller or bigger, so be sure to check that out. Now, as always, if you prefer a written pattern, check out my Etsy shop. I'll leave the link to my Etsy shop in the information box below. So these little overalls are done. I already have another version of these little overalls. This one here. This one is using the crystal wave stitch pattern. These have a matching little coat or a little jacket that go with it, so stay tuned. I will also do the same for this one here. I'll go ahead and make a little coat to match these little overalls, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so this was today's tutorial. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.